Hey, what's going on, good kind of people? For Saturday night of December 3rd, 2021, you're checking out an all-new The RCWR Show, covering the latest in all things wrestling entertainment and beyond since 2011. Here we are officially talking about the NWA Hard Times 2 pay-per-view event. Couple of minutes removed, went off just a little bit after 11 p.m. Nice pay-per-view overall. I got some polls up wondering what you guys had thought about the pay-per-view that were able to check it out. Sound off. We got Twitter at the RCWR Show. YouTube. Click on the Communities tab over at youtube.com/the RCWR Show. And you can sound off that way. I will get to the polling results in a couple of minutes. But what a great way going into the weekend. Friday night, we had got AEW Rampage, and it looks, as far as numbers go, the fast viewership numbers right now is suggesting that the numbers are up from the previous week's Rampage. So that's pretty good right there if you like your numbers game and all that. But as far as just wrestling content in general, you guys got your fix on Friday night. Now here you are going into Saturday night with your NWA Hard Times 2. And then let's not forget, Sunday night, we put a nice, pretty little bookend to the weekend, as we're going to be talking about NWA. Oh, actually, no, correction. WWE NXT War Games they got coming up. So all in all, a pretty good weekend if you're a wrestling fan. I know that there were a lot of folks that were very excited to check out tonight's Hard Times 2 pay-per-view. But then you also had a decent amount of folks that, you know, sadly, they're not checking out the NWA product because what was a really good fix for them for the longest time was being able to check out the shows for free on YouTube TV and everything. So, you know, now that you've got a big bulk of the stuff going behind a paywall, it's a little bit difficult for some folks, you know, and I totally get that. That's why you got shows like mine. You appreciate shows like mine. You really should be doing your best to support it. That way you're always in the loop about everything that's going on with the NWA product. You feel me? But tonight, definitely a pretty damn good stacked card. I'm not going to do any more delaying here. Let's dive right into it because this was a rather lengthy card, and pre-show started a few minutes after 7 p.m. So including what went down on the pre-show, which for the most part was almost non-stop wrestling action. For those of you that were not able to check out the NWA Hard Times 2 pre-show, that pre-show, as with the past several pre-shows they've done, they are free on YouTube. So my best advice to you guys, check out NWA Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel. Even if it's a case where, you know, I know a lot of you guys are used to watching the full episodes of NWA Power and all that, you at least get to check out highlights, and it might not be the whole episode, but at least it kind of keeps you in the loop. Combine that with what I talk about here, you guys will always be in the 411. But their pre-shows for their pay-per-views, you can always watch in their entirety, even on demand afterwards, on their YouTube channel. So it was a little bit of a delayed start, but once things got rolling on that pre-show, we pretty much were rocking and rolling. I did not experience any type of streaming issues whatsoever, no audio issues whatsoever between the pre-show and the actual pay-per-view itself. Everything was popping for me. I don't know how it was for you guys, but I'd love to know. Any of you all had any technical issues, you could definitely sound off. But as far as how I was checking out the show, the main pay-per-view show that is, I checked it out on my tablet. I checked it out on my Android phone. I at times had it playing on my desktop, and I experienced no issues whatsoever. That's just me. Loaded up card, return of Austin Aries, the hardcore legend Mick Foley, the former NWA Women's World Champion in Jazz. And that was just really for starters as far as surprises went for tonight's Hard Times 2 pay-per-view event. First matchup on the pre-show, Mims defeating Shockingly, this was a shocking defeat. Jax Dane pretty much got Jax Dane now dubbing himself the Dane event as another way of saying the main event. Now he's saying that he is the Dane event. Curious if that's going to really catch on with folks. We'll see. I'm not passing any premature judgment. I'm just merely stating a question. I wonder if that's really going to catch on. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Mims defeating Jax Dane via crucifix pin and picking up the 3 count from really out of nowhere. Every time I see Mims, this guy is getting bigger and bigger. And all the right places, mind you. I mean, naturally bigger. I mean, he's starting to get nice development there in the biceps and the triceps, particularly. I'm really liking this dude. Good, solid in-ring work when it's all said and done. Overall, a pretty decent performer, really coming into his own. Now, as far as this match goes, Mims did have a couple of bright spots there on the offense. He was showing a little something, but this was really all about Jax Dane beating that ass. And Jax Dane really was kind of dominating here. So to see Mims just come out of this, shockingly, it was an upset. I don't care what anybody tells you. This was a upset because you just pretty much looked at this, and then considering what had happened at by any means necessary. Actually, no, not at by any means necessary. I believe it was an episode of NWA Power where Jax Dane had lost his championship series opportunity to cash in, maybe eventually on a Trevor Murdoch. He lost that opportunity. I thought for sure Jax Dane was going to be rebounding right here, getting a dub, and then pretty much building off of that. I'm wondering if you guys were in that same position as well. Sound off, let me know. But nice little good start to the pre-show action. Joe Galley and Austin Idol were doing the commentary on this one. Gelled excellent, no complaints whatsoever. We got a little bit more of an Austin Idol since he was paired up with Joe Galley. We got more of an Austin Idol that was doing his best to focus on the in-ring action and not really putting himself over. I know some of you guys been complaining about some of the commentating and everything. You probably would have enjoyed, most likely, if Austin Idol was kind of getting on your nerves a little bit with his commentary. I think you guys would have enjoyed him tonight during the pre-show, for sure. Go back when you get a chance. You haven't checked out the pre-show, go back and sound off, let me know afterwards. Meanwhile, second matchup of the night, Melissa Kate teaming up with Natalia Markova. Now, let's just pause on that one. Melissa Kate, this was a last-minute addition, because originally the person that was supposed to be teaming with Natalia Markova was supposed to be none other than Lady Frost. And the commentators did mention this during the pre-show, but they didn't indulge in it more. They didn't expand upon it more. Pretty much the only thing you had heard as far as the commentary goes was just due to health and safety precautions, Lady Frost not able to appear. Now, what's going on? Some of you guys may be wondering, even if you were checking out the pay-per-view and maybe you didn't have a chance to do a little something on social media, do a little quick research or whatever, Lady Frost did sound off about what was going on with her from her direct social media feeds. She basically put out a 2-post statement. The first part, it read, actually, I'm looking at it right here. I tried to wait it out, but I am very sick and unable to make it to NWA this weekend in Atlanta. I feel terrible and I despise missing any booking engagements. I hope to see the NWA family soon. Love-ins, white heart emoji. And then she followed it up with drug my butt out of bed to get tested and thankfully negative. So relieved. Now back to bed to kick this ASAP. Thank you for all your well wishes. So that is why Lady Frost. So, I mean, basically when it's all said and done. Now, I remember there was another post she had later on where she was responding, I think, to a Dirt Sheet wrestling site or whatever. And she put something out there along the lines of, damn, I can't even catch a cold in peace, or something along those lines. So, look, first off, nice to hear that the test results for the COVID, it was negative, especially with this new Omicron joint. Can we all agree that sounds like the name of a new Marvel villain or something? I mean, Omicron, right? I mean, it's just badass. But, hey, knock on wood that it wasn't COVID related. So that's awesome, right? The fact that it's a common code and everything. I mean, look, most jobs, not to be long-winded, most employers, most responsible employers, they're gonna kind of operate like this in this day and age. It's better to be safe than sorry. Lord knows I was dealing with, I sound a little bit better than yesterday, but I actually had a little bit of a worse voice, believe it or not, yesterday. I mean, it was sounding very hoarse, very dry. Every time I swallowed or I was drinking something, eating something, it felt like razors, something sharp was just going down my throat. And finally, I had asked the wifey if she could get some NyQuil and DayQuil. And while she was running errands yesterday, she actually did pick it up. So it was waiting for me by the time I got home. So I had that. I had some Mucinex. I just went under the covers. I sweated it out. I feel 70% better. 70% better. So I love me some Lady Frost. I hope that she's able to knock that out pretty quickly so that we can at least see her on some of these tapings they're going to be doing. If she's even able to make these tapings, we got to be prepared. She may not be able to do these batch of tapings they're going to be doing at the GPB studios out there in Atlanta, because I think they usually do that during the course of about 3 days, give or take, right, guys? So shout out to you guys in the Atlanta area. By the way, let's address, while we're talking about NWA Hard Times, let's address the serious elephant in the room. For those of you that saw the pay-per-view tonight, or you will be seeing the pay-per-view before the weekend's out or next couple of days, you may notice that, wow, there's a nice little amount of fans in the centered seats, but what the hell is going on with the sides, as the side seats are totally empty? All throughout the pre-show, all throughout the actual pay-per-view itself, you had Joe Galli and team reminding us that due to safety protocols, that basically they could only release but a certain amount of tickets to the studios. So you all may be hearing that, but I would not blame you guys that also said, well, wait a minute. I, at one point, Lee, tried to see about getting tickets to Hard Times, and I actually went on the website and I didn't see anything about any restrictions or, look, when it's all said and done, that is a indoor studio that they're doing. Practically everybody that I saw all throughout the pay-per-view, everybody was wearing their mask. Those that were fans, everybody was wearing their mask. I did not see any bare faces, because I was even looking for people to be sipping on a little soda, having a little popcorn or something. I didn't even see any of that was going on. It was almost kind of like just, I wouldn't be surprised if they were told, hey, eat before you come here, because, yeah, it's gonna, yeah, right? We got bottled water, but that's really it, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it was kind of one of those type of deals going on. But look, I checked out what was going on with the state of Georgia. Not to bore you guys, but their numbers are a little bit high out there. Their COVID cases and all that, it's a little bit high. So if that's ultimately how NWA wanted to set things up with their audience tonight, as far as the seating arrangements go, I mean, we can't really, but I think we all can be in agreement. It definitely was a little bit of it left a sore eye, because like you just see that middle section just, filled. Everything's filled. But then when you're looking to the left or to the right of just all of those seats, they're all empty, right? And it definitely was hurting to the eyes. But you know what? Good, energetic crowd for when it counted the most. Lady Frost, again, no go. So Melissa Kate and Natalia Markova teaming up to take on Tootie Lynn and Kylie Ray. Yes, Kylie Ray is back for now. Remember when we were going over Hard Times 2 predictions, we spent a couple of minutes talking about Kylie Rae and whether or not it was a sure thing she was going to be at the pay-per-view. It was great that we saw her. It actually put legit, it put a big smile on my face. Yeah, I know she's dealing with some personal stuff that's going on and everything. So one day at a time is how I always break it down. One day at a time. That's how you got to take it. Those girls teaming up to take on the Hex NWA Women's Tag Team Titles Triple Threat match. But wait, there's more if you act now. No, seriously, we saw Taryn Terrell come out. She went over to Cal Davis as she was with her homegirls in Paola Blaze and Genocide. Love me some Genocide. Genocide is awesome. And they talked about how, hey, y'all forget that Genocide, she won that little thing called the Champion Series. So since she won that, we've been trying to brainstorm and figure out when's a good time to cash in the opportunity here. Do we maybe cash it in on the world title? Men over there, they're too sweaty. Do we maybe cash it in? Maybe on the, I'm trying to remember what was the other title I think she might have mentioned maybe the TV title. There's one other title that she had mentioned. Oh, Camille. She was like, maybe do we cash it in on Camille? And Taryn felt that would be too easy to cash in on Camille. So instead, they decided that they're going to cash in their opportunity on this match for the NWA Women's Tag Titles. So the match now becomes a fatal four-way dance for those tag titles. So pretty good matchup. Actually a pretty damn good tag match. The Hexes, Allison Kay, Marty Bell retaining the tag titles. They pretty much hit the Hex marks the spot as Allison Kay was the legal man, pinning it on Tootie Lynn, getting the win there on Tootie Lynn, retaining their tag titles. Nice little tag match for what it was worth. Good tag team action. All these girls, they really freaking brought it. Had a nice couple of spots in there. I particularly liked the spot where all the girls basically went crashing. I mean, you couldn't lay that out any better, where they all were just conveniently in the same place at the same time when one just goes over the ropes and just does that nice little splash into them and everything. Pretty good. I don't think anybody was even thinking that the Hex were going to be losing the tag titles right here. Seriously, I know I wasn't. I did not think by any stretch Hex was going to lose these tag titles, but all these girls, they clicked pretty well in here. I got to give them high marks. They all did pretty good. Even Tootie Lynn, who a lot of people are going, Tootie who? Like, there's no bullshit. Like, I'm not making any jokes. There's people that are, who's Tootie Lynn? Like, because they've never heard of her before, and they're quickly becoming fans of her. She's coming along. She's definitely coming along. Let's see. So 2 matches for your pre-show, and that sets up our last match of the pre-show, which was the NWA Junior Heavyweight Tournament. This one saw, bear with me a second here, because my notes are a little bit jumbled up, just a little bit jumbled up here. Yeah, this one had the following participants, because this one was a, kind of a eliminator gauntlet thingamajigga type of ordeal here. So NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship qualifying gauntlet match. Try saying that 10 times fast. Alex Taylor, Arya Davari, C.W. Anderson, Darius Lockhart, Homicide, Jeremiah Plunkett, Jamie Stanley, Kerry Morton, Luke Hawks, Saul Renaro, Victor Benjamin, Ricky Morton. But wait, there's more. Breaking development here. So we see Darius Lockhart right before this match was underway. And the revolutionary Darius Lockhart, he revealed that at this present time, he's not medically cleared to compete. So as a result of that, he will not be participating in that gauntlet match. He also talked about how he would be appearing in the tournament, as you'll be seeing him on the new NWA show titled NWA USA. So remember, a couple of weeks back, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, we heard, and we were talking about it on our NWA Power Post shows. You guys are more than welcome to tune in and check those out. I always try to get those bad boys out Tuesday nights at the latest 10 p.m. If I can get it out live sooner, I do, but always Tuesdays on our YouTube channel is when we drop those. But we talked about how there was a new NWA show that was coming, and that, you know, obviously more information will be forthcoming. So we got one step closer to finding out what's going on here, as the new show is going to be called NWA USA. From what the commentators mentioned, this is going to be a hybrid type of show where the wrestling is going to be more fast-paced. It's going to be more technical, if you will, you know, more high-flying action, if you will. So, you know, I still need to hear a little bit more as far as when this series is going to be launching. We did not get that information. So whether that show is going to be premiering this week or it's going to be the next week, we don't know any of that just yet. But Darius Lockhart did say he would be appearing on NWA USA, and that's basically where you'll be able to see him, you know, do his thing. And I'm with Jared. Jared is saying he's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this NWA USA show as well. It sounds very, very promising. If they want to run it at about the same length as they do with Power, I am totally down for that. But for them to basically go 180 from what we normally get on Power and on Power Surge, you know, assuming that's what's being applied with what they laid out tonight as far as teasers, yeah, I got a big old mug. I'll drink some of that. And for those of you that are still trying to get to know a little bit about Darius Lockhart, there's definitely footage of him online. I mean, full matches. So have at it. I checked out a little bit of his stuff because I'm not going to lie to you guys, other than tonight. Because some people, it's like, oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I just haven't seen them in a couple of years. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Last thing I'm going to do is lie. I've not heard this guy's name before. I researched him pretty much during the pre-show, and I think he's a pretty damn good wrestler, especially considering that the people who trained him was Caleb Conley, Caleb with a K, down in Impact Wrestling for you guys, and he was also trained by Cedric Alexander, WWE superstar Cedric Alexander. So when you got two trainers and those guys, I mean, how can you go wrong? This guy started wrestling when he was 17. Some of the promotions that he's worked for, I mean, this guy's been all over the place. I mean, not just regional, not just as far as USA. He's also done some shit overseas as well. But just some of the promotions he's done some work for: PWX, SWE, VPW, GCW. Most recently, he even did a AEW dark match against QT Marshall. So for you AEW fans out there, especially those of you that make it your rounds to check out AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, if that guy looked familiar to you and you saw the pay-per-view, now you kind of have a better idea where you've seen his face. To give you guys a little bit more insight into this man, most recently at a VPW event, it was their Infection 5 homecoming event. He recently had lost his championship in a main event match for that show. So just to kind of get you guys a little bit caught up to speed on what's going on with him. But there's definitely some stuff out there online. I definitely would encourage you to check it out. I watched a handful of his matches while the NWA pre-show was on tonight. And I like the guy. He reminds me a lot like Cedric Alexander, a little bit of Shelton Benjamin, and a little bit of there's one other guy. I'm trying to think of his name. He is in, or he was in Ring of Honor. Black guy. He was doing some commentating work last I had saw. You guys got to forgive me. I can't think of his name right now, but somebody I really, really mess with. He does, I don't know if he still does the podcast, but I know for the longest time he was doing a podcast with his former ROH tag team partner. I can't think of his name right now. If I saw the name in the chat, I would definitely know who the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. But he's when you watch him too, you go, yeah, I see that. And if I could think of the last guy that I'm picturing, you guys would definitely be like, Caprice Coleman. That's the name I'm thinking of. Caprice Coleman. He's got that Caprice Coleman, Shelton Benjamin. I definitely see Cedric Alexander as far as like his arsenal goes and all that. I see all three of those guys mixed in him. So he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So as a result of Darius Lockhart rolling out, Ricky Morton, and he has close ties historically to the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship and everything, so he entered that. So that's great. So it came down to two participants at the very end. It came down to Homicide. Looking at my notes right here. It came down to Homicide. Actually, let me set that up before. Really, your last three. It came down to Homicide, PJ Hawks, and it came to Kerry Morton. And I love the great little story that they had there with Kerry Morton. They're basically saying, hey, look, obviously, when you're the son of a legendary wrestler, you want to try to do everything you can in your power to lay down your own foundation of a path, be your own man and everything, and really step out of the shadow. So I really like how they had that out there. And, not for nothing, it really seemed like Kerry could have gone all the way. But Homicide eliminating PJ Hawks. It then was down to Homicide, Kerry Morton, Homicide being the one to advance further into this tournament. So I got to be honest with you guys. I did not see Homicide. I did not see him advancing, right down to the point when we were doing match predictions. What was it? Wednesday night, I was calling for PJ Hawks to advance because I really had liked the idea of potentially PJ Hawks and Austin Aries going at it, right? But here's the thing. Now that I look back on it in hindsight, I did not know the tournament was going to go, deeper and deeper. I was under the impression that we were going to get a new junior heavyweight champion, maybe if not tonight, then definitely on the next episode or two of NWA Power was maybe when we were going to find out who the junior heavyweight champion was going to be. But this is going to be another one of those semi-long tournaments that they're going to be doing. So all things considered, probably going to be a couple of weeks before we know who's who. But that was your NWA Hard Times 2 pre-show. To the actual pay-per-view card we go. Rhett Titus, pretty much representing ROH for what it's worth, taking on Austin Aries. Austin Aries, I know Austin Aries has gotten a bad rep over the years. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, if you're one of those people that says, hey, Lee, some of that shit he's had coming to him, you ain't going to get no argument from me. I'm totally in agreement with you. But I tell you what, when Austin Aries' name is not attached to any type of drama, scandalous social media BS or whatever, when you can just focus on the man getting into the ring, nights like tonight, you're reminded why, especially if you followed the work of Austin Aries for so many years, you're reminded why. This is why I mess with Austin Aries. I loved this opening matchup between he and Rhett Titus tonight. I truly, truly did. And by the way, shout out to NWA for mentioning at the very top, soon as they pretty much were opening up the pay-per-view, they gave thanks to Ring of Honor and to Impact Wrestling. And they did it more than once, but grand total, like 3 times, they did that little nod to those promotions. And, you know, you just gotta to follow up on what Joe Galley had said. Remember when Billy Corbin had came across NWA, he became the new owner and everything. ROH was pretty much the first wrestling promotion to embrace Billy and pretty much, yo, whatever you need, we got your back. You know, they were helping him through some growing pains there early on in ROH. And wow, just so weird, isn't it? You know, now we fast forward a couple of years and it's ROH that is in this weird status right now. And I like that whole transparency that was done on commentating tonight, where they talked about how ROH is having its own growing pains and they're going to be doing one more pay-per-view and that took me by surprise. I got to be honest with you guys. I did not even know that ROH was going to be doing one more pay-per-view. I thought operations were just like, they're done, that's it, and see you in April, hopefully. But apparently there's one big grand finale of a pay-per-view that they're going to be doing, and then that's it until April. So knowing that, had I known that when we were going through predictions, I definitely would have gone on ahead and said, and said a little bit later on in the night, we'll get to that match, but I would have picked differently. You'll guys see exactly what I'm talking about when we go there. But Rhett Titus representing ROH, taking on Austin Aries. About a 15-minute match. Austin Aries going over with the trademark brain buster there. I loved everything about this match as it had a nice X Division feel to it. It did, and I hate to say that because I know that's kind of a taboo thing to say among some wrestling fans, because some people kind of frown upon when you bring up the X Division and all that, but yeah, that's like a select few people that frown upon it. But no, I thought this one was actually pretty damn good. You know, Austin Aries looks great. He's been able to maintain his size, looks pretty healthy looking. And I mean that in the most respectful way. I mean, he literally looks just like last I saw of him, honestly, right? He didn't look like he had the... He didn't have that trademark Impact Wrestling type of build where you could say he was, you know, a lot more defined and all that. But for what it was worth, you know, what you saw of him tonight, he held up pretty damn good. He held up pretty damn good. So Austin Aries advancing further into this tournament. Main question on my mind right now, who's the rest of these people that's going to be in this tournament? We do this gauntlet qualifying match where one person has advanced, and then we do this one. So like, how many, you know, it feels like they're just kind of throwing audibles as they're going along. We'll see how they piece all this together, though. We'll see how they piece all this together. Second matchup of the night, Aaron Stevens and Kratos teaming up to take on the tag team of Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. I keep wanting to call them Gyro because every time I look at their little initials, right? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The initials that's on their trunk. And what is it? GYO or whatever it is. GKO, whatever the damn thing is. This was for the ROH tag team titles. Now, remember what I talked about just a couple of minutes ago? All things considered with ROH, they're getting ready to do one more pay-per-view. Okay, so had I known on Wednesday what I know now, my pick was actually for Stevens and Kratos to get the ROH tag titles. And the reason being, in case you guys didn't check out Wednesday's show, I went with Stevens and Kratos because I felt that with everything that was going on with ROH, why not have some temporary, placeholders for your ROH tag champions? At least the product can continue to be put out there. You can go defend the titles on various shows. Obviously, ROH is still going to be in the loop, and they pretty much got final say on what's going to be happening with their tag titles and everything, since pretty much everybody was being shown the door, right? That's why I went with Aaron Stevens and Kratos. But remember, at the same time, even though I went in that direction, I also told you guys, if they don't go in that direction, then will things really come ahead, and we're going to see a bit of a explosion, if you will, from Aaron Stevens. That was the other thing I had pointed out. So, and we kind of got that, didn't we? We did get that tonight as far as Aaron Stevens goes. 10 minutes of a tag match. Finish to this, we saw a raking of the eyes to Mike Bennett from Aaron Stevens. Stevens was just pretty much snapping on this one. Shout out to MDH. He's saying OGK. To me, it just sounds, I don't know why, it just sounds like some gyro shit. I've only, look, at least my excuse, I don't watch ROH. So, I tried during the pandemic, MDH and others. I tried, and it was just so weird watching Ring of Honor. Of all the promotions, and we documented this on the show repeatedly, of all the promotions that just really seemed like they were struggling as far as original content, ROH seemed like they were really, and then even right when things were starting to get better, okay, we got vaccines, it just seemed like ROH was continuing to weather this storm that we're in right now. So yeah, mean no disrespect, but I'm sure now that I've kind of laid that out there, you guys definitely understand where I'm coming from. But the closing minutes, like I said, Aaron Stevens, I mean, he was showing shades of snapping here and there, showing a little bit of a mean streak, but he finally just freaking snapped, and he was just raking at the eyes big time of Mike Bennett. And then Taven actually steps in. He does a nice step-up kick to Stevens' face. And when he did that, that pretty much had helped set up a roll-up by Matt Taven. And actually, no. Actually, no. If I remember it correctly, Stevens did a roll-up on Matt Taven, but then Mike Bennett ended up super kicking Stevens. And that had set up a reversal pinfall victory for OGK. And then afterwards, Aaron Stevens, just pretty livid. He was screaming to the top of his lungs, even went over to where Kyle Davis was, even went over to the commentators, and he was screaming, "Never been better! Never been better! I've never been better! Never been better! Never been better!" I mean, he was just snapping big time. I loved it. I was eating that shit up, and all you got is Kratos just standing there, and Kratos is just, yeah, right? So it's one of those, what has Kratos essentially unleashed? And it's, I hate to be that broken horse, but, that broken record, rather. I said broken horse, damn, that's cruel. I hate to be that broken record, but I've been saying this for a couple of months now, with Kratos continuing to just poke at Stevens the way he's been poking at him. When he finally does tap into this dark, sinister, whatever that Stevens has been sitting on all this time, is Kratos really going to be down with this, or is this going to blow up in his face to a point where even Kratos is going, yo, even for me, that shit was too much, right? I can't help but wonder, but for all intents and purposes tonight, Kratos is liking what he's seeing. So notice, for those of you that watched the pay-per-view tonight, you notice Kratos wasn't upset that they lost. He seemed to be more giddy over the fact that his message is finally getting through to Aaron Stevens. Yeah. If you guys haven't done so already, you're enjoying the post show so far, be so kind and make sure that you hit that like button. When you do that, you really help us out, especially as far as content recommendations to YouTube and especially for you NWA fans. I know there's a decent amount of you guys. Main thing I always hear from NWA fans, Lee, thank you so much for covering NWA. There's hardly that many people that's talking about it on a regular basis. So try to do your part. Since it's free, hit that like button. That way more NWA fans will be able to check out content like this and other stuff that we put out there. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe so you don't miss out on some of the great content we put out there for you guys on a weekly basis. I always tell you guys, if you subscribe, you get to see your name pop up and everything. But it turns out there's actually some people that don't like having their names advertised and all that. So I still get to see who subscribed. There's just no notification that pops up on the screen. And I don't want to put their names out there, but believe it or not, in the past couple of weeks, we've actually had a few wrestlers, I'm using plural, more than one, definitely, at least about almost 10 that I'm aware of, that have subscribed to the YouTube channel. Legit wrestlers that have subscribed to the YouTube channel. So just goes to show you, you never know. And it's not a case of, oh, it's just, you know, somebody with a spam account of their favorite wrestler and they're using the handle and the no, these, I did cross-referencing. These are legit. It just goes to show you never know who's watching and listening and all that. Now, that don't faze me because I'm still going to be unbiased. I'm still going to be keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since we've been doing since 2011. But yeah. So shout out to my point. Shout out to those of you that recently have been subscribing the past couple of weeks. Hope you enjoy your stay and enjoy the content. All right. What other action we got we can talk about here next? Was I done with Stevens? And yeah, we pretty much were. That was a good tag match. I will say that. You know, that actually was a pretty damn good tag match. Great flow. The pre-show. And the fact that that same energy, that same flow, you're just rolling into the actual pay-per-view. I gotta say, every single match tonight had a nice flow to it. However, we did come across some hiccups where you're just kind of scratching your head going, we'll get there. Trust me, we'll get there. Colby Corino taking on TNA alumni and one of my favorites from the British Invasion there, and Doug Williams. Doug Williams, this dude looked freaking phenomenal. You think Tim Storm is something when you look at him and you see how well he's held up over the years. Doug Williams is another one who just, wow. I mean, physically still looks good. It's just everything about Doug Williams still recognizable. Can still go in there and hang with some of the best. And I got to tell you, of all the matches for NWA Hard Times 2 tonight, Colby Corino, Doug Williams was one of my absolute favorites. That may surprise some people, and I am not overshooting my shot. I legit, no bull, legit, of all the matches, and we pretty much got like 13, 14 matches. Of all the matches we got, my absolute favorite, one that when I look back on it now, it's one of those sleeper hits because it just creeps up on you. Colby Corino, Doug Williams. I could watch those two guys go at it all fucking day. Seriously, I could watch them go at it all freaking day. Blown away. And you know, I think for me, what even made this even much more cooler to enjoy, there was a really good post that Colby Corino had put out there on social media. I want to share this with you guys because it ties in it ties into what he had did tonight. And it's a very short statement that he put out there. So just indulge me here for a hot minute here. But yeah, I definitely want to, here it is. And I should be able to pull it up. Where are we here? Where are we here? Here it is. All right, this is what he had said. And he put the statement out there, don't worry, it's not an apology. But here's what he said. 5 years ago today, I overdosed on heroin and cocaine and was arrested after being revived in my home. I was 3 weeks away from going to Japan for a year to live and train, my lifelong dream. Unsurprisingly, after being arrested, my contract was canceled. In my mind at the time, I already lost everything, so I sunk even deeper. More arrests, more drugs, so much that even to this day, I can't get blood work taken out of the veins in my elbows because they're covered in so much scar tissue. Think about that for a second, y'all. Think about that for a second. I ended up homeless, living under a bridge in Tennessee. Wrestling, one of the most important things of my life, wasn't even a thought in my mind. The only thing I could think about was the next drug to put in that needle. I don't have some insane recovery story. I went to an inpatient rehab program and they helped me get out of the rut I was living in. They gave me better tools to help with my emotions, better coping strategies instead of just falling into substances. I stopped thinking I knew better than those around me and actually listened to what advice people were giving me. Just a little bit more here. I burned a lot of bridges in wrestling during this time. I heard a lot of no's and nevers, and I thought for a while that's how things would stay. But I worked my ass off to rebuild my name and push through despite those no's and nevers to get to where I am today. About to wrestle a legend I grew up watching on pay-per-view for the NWA. For a long time, December 4th has haunted me like a restless ghost, but today it's a testament to how far I've come and a reminder to never go back. It's a reminder that I will never fall back down that hole. And to anyone else living in the rut of addiction or mental illness, I want you to know there's a way out and you're not hopeless. Find what you love and dive into it. Replace your addiction to drugs with an addiction to your passion. He closes out by saying, you already know how to hustle for drugs. Now you just have to hustle for a happy life. Marinate on that for a few ticks. You guys listen to the audio version. Heard a little bit of silence just there. I was taking a swig of water. But what powerful statements, what powerful words that is. How can you not, after reading that, if you were already a Colby Carino fan, how can you not read that and not root for the man? Seriously. Whether the guy is your cup of tea of a wrestler or not, when you read some stuff like that, you just can't help but go, you know what, man? Well, good for you. Good that you were able to turn your life around. Seems like for the better. And, you're able to control your demons, not let them get the best of you, right? There's one of my favorite Metallica lyrics from their Saint Anger album, My Lifestyle Determines My Death Style. I think you guys know that song very well. Frantic. Saint Anger album, Metallica, Frantic. Great fucking, lyrically, that is just damn good song. That legit put a smile on my face to just hear everything that this young man has persevered and for everything to come not only full circle, but here he is. He probably was marking out tonight. The little kid in him was probably most likely marking out over the fact that He was getting ready to wrestle one of his all-time favorites growing up, and Doug Williams there. Right? I mean, it don't get no better than that. If that's not the extra icing and incentive to, just continue to stay the course and look at just some of these good things that's going to continue to, happen for you as a result of staying on this course. And both men look like they had a lot of fun with each other tonight. They just clicked extremely well. No sloppiness whatsoever, no nothing. Not that I was looking for, but I just have a keen eye. I can notice stuff like that. Colby, for probably having a big mark out there in wrestling Doug Williams, you wouldn't know if he was nervous because he wrestled oh so fine, right? Cool as a cucumber, as you all like to say. He did that joint pretty damn good tonight. Good matchup. Williams tried looking for Chaos Theory at one point. Colby came in with a nice, beautiful counter. Colby then comes in with a cannonball in the corner. Williams comes in with a nice, pretty underhook Tiger Driver for a near fall. It was a pretty damn good Tiger Driver. I don't get to see as many Tiger Drivers. I don't. NWA, it's rare. I get to see a Tiger Driver. Shit, AEW, I get to see, and I'm not complaining, but in AEW, I get to see a Tiger Driver guaranteed at least twice a week, right? So I've seen some bad Tiger Drivers, and I've seen some excellent Tiger Drivers, and the Tiger Driver that Williams had did, pretty. That bad boy was pretty. That's all I got to say. Williams' shoulder goes into one of the corners of the ring post, hits the steel first, and Fixers actually had helped set that up. I mean, the main telling point of this story was whether or not Colby Corino could do this on his own, whether or not he can definitively do this match against a veteran in Doug Williams and win on his own. As the commentators kept not only bringing up that question, but Velvet Sky kept mentioning, he doesn't need the Fixers. With as good as he's wrestling, why are the Fixers even in his corner? Why are they even out here? He doesn't need them. But as we had saw, you might have missed it, but the Fixers, they did make their presence felt, helping Colby ultimately get the victory here over Doug Williams. A little bait and switch there. 12 minutes of a match. Good shit right here. Good shit right here. Now, one of my favorite women's matches. I got to go through the year-end awards. We're going to be getting to it in just a couple of weeks. But this match actually, for me at least, it actually made the list. Convince me otherwise as far as it not being on my list. But Mickie James taking on Kiera Hogan for the Impact Knockouts Championship. Again, Mickie James, Kiera Hogan. Impact Knockouts Championship match. I fucking love this match. These girls. Ooh. Look, seriously, I am very proud. I am very proud of what these two girls did here tonight. I enjoyed this match so much so that I wish this match actually would have been on Empower. The Empower pay-per-view that NWA did a couple of months back. I wish we could have gotten these two girls, right? Title, no title. Just give me the match. Just give me the match. This was extremely, extremely good. Extremely good. Greatest storytelling at its finest. I really, really love the pacing of this as well. This was pretty much a case of the student taking on the teacher, right? And it's like, show me what you've learned. I've been training you since you were a kid. It's like, now let's see how you've pieced it all together. Let's see how you do here. And I tell you what, Kiera Hogan, I've been singing her praises. I'm very proud to say this. There have been few wrestlers, and I'm not sucking my own horn here, but just feel me for a second, because it's the truth. There are few wrestlers good, bad, indifferent. Like, I don't care what day of the week it is. There are a few wrestlers for me over the years that I've gotten behind, no matter what people might have said, just anything, that I've just constantly gone to bat for and said, no, this person is the shit. Y'all don't see it yet, but you will in due time. Just give it time. And I've always been consistent about Kiera Hogan. Always been consistent about her. The one negative that you'll probably find me say about Kiera Hogan from back in the day is just, what's going on with the personality. We got to flush that personality out a lot more. Great look and everything, pretty decent in the ring, but, kind of struggling in the personality department, in the talking department, and just how she's been able to piece it all together in recent years. I'm very proud. And I mean, just stop and think about it. She's in her, mid to late 20s. And, she is still scratching the absolute peak of her awesomeness, right? I mean, she hasn't even tapped into it yet. She's just scratching at it right now. If she's where she is right now at 27, can you guys imagine where she's going to be just overall as a performer by the time she's 30, 31 maybe? I mean, it's amazing how she's been able to just piece it all together. And this match that she had with Mickie James, in my eyes at least, it had really helped, take her to another level and everything. And I like the fact that, now, granted, was anybody else under the impression or even entertain the idea that Kiera Hogan would become the Knockouts champion? Me personally, I didn't, because I'm keeping in the back of my mind, well, shit, she just left Impact Wrestling earlier this summer. She parted ways with them, right? She really wants to go out there, spread her wings, all that good stuff and everything. And I'll have to rely on you guys, but I think some of you guys said was no. And I'll pose the question while we're live on air right now, and you guys feel free to respond. Kiera Hogan, she is not all elite, is she not? I mean, we've seen her make a few appearances, but she is not officially signed to AEW that we know of right now. Is that correct? Sound off, let me know. That way we can have real time. Don't guess. No, right? So no. But one thing we know for sure, since July or June, July, she hasn't had anything to do with Impact Wrestling. So, I remotely entertained the idea of, maybe, but then it was like, no, because she left. But then it was, well, maybe it could mean she worked out a new deal and but I just kind of felt in my heart of hearts, nah, we're not going to see her. So for me, instead, when I looked at this match particularly, I tried to focus a lot more on, okay, Mickie James, one of the absolute best. And can I say something about Mickie James real quick? Seriously, I'm getting sick and fucking tired. Excuse my profanity, but I got to go there. I'm getting sick and fucking tired of seeing these jabronis that's running around, especially some wrestling fans, let alone wrestling fans that have never laced up a pair of boots and got in the ring. Talk about how, oh, that woman is too old to be wrestling. She needs to go sit down somewhere. What's this 30-something-year-old female wrestler doing running around? Can we stop with that? Because the age thing, that ain't nothing but a number. It is all about what you can go out there and do physically. That's what it's all about. And what I saw of Mickie James tonight, it felt like, even if it was just maybe one night, it felt like we had got a retro Mickie James from 15 years ago. I bullshit you not, right? I mean, we longtime Mickie James fans, we know what this girl is capable of when you give her the right opponent And we don't have to worry about no silly little TV restrictions and all that. You know, we know what she's capable of, but you know, sometimes you wouldn't know that because depending on the company that she's working for, she's devalued. And not for nothing, but you look at that last run that she had in WWE and, you know, it's just there, right? But can we please be done? I saw the most... It was frustrating to see it, but I saw the most nerve-wracking comment by somebody on social media a couple of weeks ago. They scoffed at the idea of Mickie James being the current Impact Knockouts champion. And you know why? You know why? Because as far as they were concerned, she was too old. That was it, plain and simple. She was too old. It's like, so let me see if I got this straight. So a woman such as Mickie James that has held herself up pretty damn well. She's a young 42, okay? But, you know, we also got a nice group of women that's running around in their 30s. But no, we got people that are saying these women are too old, that they shouldn't be in the ring. To my point, yeah, I know some of you guys are probably thinking like, but you should see the connection. The connection that I'm making here is basically when you watch what Mickie James and Kiera Hogan did tonight, it validates the point that I just brought up about, yo, age ain't nothing but a number, man. It's all about what you're able to physically go out there and freaking do, what type of story you're able to go tell in that ring with that opponent, and whether or not you're going to be able to create that magic for the fans. And the fans really showed their love and admiration for what these two girls had did tonight because it was that good of a match. I cannot sing enough high praises for this match in the performances that both women gave in this one. So if there's one match I would say off the break, go out of your way and check out, as far as the pay-per-view replay, that's getting my highest mark, that match right there. Let's see. I'm trying. Closing moments of that matchup. Kiera Hogan, and I still can't help but wonder if we're going to be seeing a heel Kiera Hogan really, because we've seen some teases in NWA. We've seen some teases here on programming. So I can't help but wonder if we're going to go there because we had a lot of nice little sportsmanship that was going on between both of these women. But for what it was worth, it seemed that when Kiera was just throwing that out of the window and she was just being that young, hungrier wolf and laser focus, it seemed like she was within just distance away from actually seizing the deal and everything. But for example, closing moments, we see Kiera Hogan do a side kick to Mickie, you know, little side super kick basically. And then once Mickie is down, Kiera goes over to the ropes and she's kind of playing up to the fans and she's teasing whether or not she should go up to the top turnbuckle and the fans are going, yeah. So she obliges. She listens to them. She goes up to the top turnbuckle and then she looks for a diving crossbody. Mickie James manages to somewhat catch the momentum of that crossbody and then reverses it into a pin, and Mickie James retains the championship that way. Post-match, Mickie James embracing Kiera. Kiera's beating herself up pretty bad. Mickey's telling her, hey, you got nothing to be ashamed of. That was a pretty damn good match. You know, relish in it. You know, celebrate it. You did fucking good. Go in that corner and get your flowers. The fans loved you. They loved me. You know, go to the corner. So Kiera did that. It was nice, good sportsmanship that they did there. But I can't help but wonder, okay, are we done? Are we done with Kiera hearing one thing that Mickie is saying and she's going in another direction? Or Does this kind of magnify it a little bit more here? I'm very curious. We'll know very soon when it comes to this next batch of pay-per-view, or rather NWA Power tapings. Next matchup. All right, you've been hearing me some praise here and there. Here's where things start to get a little what the fuck. Next match. Special guest referee Pope for Cyan versus Tyrus, the NWA TV title. Look, decent match for what it was worth. But the finish, if you didn't have a problem with the finish, bless your heart. That's all I got to say. So look, let's give high marks where it's due. The fact that you had Pope realize what Black G's and Jordan Clearwater are all about. He's probably seen enough with his own two eyes. He knows what time it is. Before the match even begins, he ejects them. Okay, that's great. And as far as Pope is concerned, Black G's, Clearwater, you're not even Tyrus's manager. So if anybody's going to be staying out here, it's going to be Austin Idol. You two guys, you're out of here. That was good. But if you're thinking a little bit further down the road, you're going, well, not for nothing, but this is a no DQ match. So why should they even really comply with what Pope is saying here, right? Right? Aha! We'll come back to that in a little bit. All right? So Idol remains. All right? You have Cyan charging right at Tyrus, knocking the manster off his feet. Yes, I said manster. Knocking him off his feet. Just going to him. I love that. That was a nice little opener. It was nice and explosive. I love that. I love that. But then we have the action go outside the ring there. Cyan, Tyrus, just all of that. Beautiful. No problem with any of that stuff that was going on, right? Great matchup. But here's where we start to go a little bit caca here, all right? Calling it for what it is. So let's pick it up where Clearwater and G's, they decide, okay, you know what? Cyan, he cutting it a little bit too close here, man. A couple of times looked like he was about to become the new TV champion. Clearwater, G's, they come out. They decide the hell with what the Pope has said. We're going to just jump this dude. So you got Pope that's just standing there. He's trying to maintain order. It's not working. What is a Pope to do? Especially when he's a referee. What is he to do? Meanwhile, you've got Tyrus that's just enjoying everything that's going on. He's loving everything that's playing out before his eyes. He goes over to Pope and pretty much telling Pope, yo, you can't do a goddamn thing except do your job. So pretty much do your job. Got a little physical with Pope. Pope takes his gloves off and he just starts wailing on Tyrus. Sends him into the corner where Cyan is. Keep in mind, Cyan's mask was ripped open a little bit, but not enough. Remember what Tyrus said. He was going to not only embarrass Cyan, but he was going to unmask him as well. Well, we saw a little bit of embarrassing, definitely, but we didn't quite get that whole unmasking deal down. So anyway, Cyan, one corner. Pope sends Tyrus into Cyan. I don't know why I'm getting... God, it's a tongue twister, ain't it? Cyan, Tyrus. Anyway, Pope loading up a big old kick. Tyrus moves out the way. Cyan takes that kick. He goes crashing down. Tyrus looks on at Pope, tells him to do his job. Pope counts the 1, the 2, the 3. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was just lame as fuck. And I responded to that finish in real time as it played out. I felt, well, wait a minute. If we got Black G's running down here, we got Jordan Clearwater running down here doing, we got the spot there where Scion was doing the spot with the table. He's trying to get a table in the ring, and then Austin Idol's grabbing at the table. Freaking Pulp says, Idol, you're out of here. He ejects him, and that's when Clearwater and Black G's got involved. Once they saw that Idol got ejected, that's when they came out. So yeah, all that crap that's going on. And you've already got Pulp being physical with Tyrus. And then at this point, you've got everything that happened, and yet he's going to count the 1, 2, 3. If there was ever a time where Pulp could have just said, oh my God, yo, oh daddy, Pulp got something in his eye. Pulp need water. Oh hell, Lord have mercy. Hang on a second, Pulp got to take care of this. That would have been the perfect time. That was just, I found that to be very, very baffling, that whole finish. I did. I just, it rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it. If I can just put that to the side for what it was worth, just everything, all things considered, good match, but I can't ignore the finish because that just left a weird, bitter taste in my mouth. I did not like that whatsoever. So how could they maybe have settled this, you may ask? I think one of the ways that they could have settled it, honestly, take Pulp out. Maybe Tyrus and Pulp could have just went at it. Tyrus ends up laying out Pulp. Result of that, you ain't got a referee. You send out a freaking substitute. And, you know, pretty much if you want to have the match in, okay, then go ahead. Or if you wanted to have Scion and Tyrus go at it for, you know, maybe an additional 2 minutes, but Pulp is out of the equation, you got a new referee, you know, that would have been okay. But yeah, I will gladly watch that match again, but I don't think I'm gonna be changing my opinion. Next up, special treat, Mick Foley in the house, and we were just singing the praises of Mick Foley earlier this week on the show, singing his praises big time. Check out the show when you get a chance. So Mick Foley was going down memory lane of his involvement with the NWA and talking about how he was able to catch up on, you know, chatting it up with folks that he hadn't seen in so many years, especially the up and coming folks that's part of the NWA roster. And he talked about how he's going to continue to have his eyes glued, and that if someone happens to cross over the line tonight, it probably wouldn't be the last time we'd see Mick Foley. And that was the truth. We actually did see him again later on. We'll get to that. Next matchup, Judas taking on Chris Adonis. This was for the national championship. Adonis retaining 9 minutes of a match. By the way, that TV title match between Pulp and between Scion and Tyrus, that went about 16 minutes. 16 minutes. And in case I didn't mention it before, Mickie James, Kiera Hogan, that went 12 minutes. 12 minutes, FYI. Judas, Chris Adonis retaining 9 minutes. Good for what it was worth. Short, sweet, to the point. It was okay. Great finish because Adonis basically won with the master lock. I did not picture Judas tapping out anytime soon, just the way that he was being built up and everything. But you know, the way that they went about telling that story, where they ultimately had Judas and the master lock and everything, I thought it was pretty cool how they had laid everything out. The Judas character, sadly, it's not growing for me as a fan. It's not growing for me. And I'll tell you the main reason why it's not growing on me. Have y'all noticed? It would appear they've backed off just a little bit of the Sinister Minister, the father, James Mitchell, cutting promos and all that for Jedias. I need to see one or two things happen here, right? Because you can't just... I'm speaking as a wrestling fan. I don't know how some of you guys feel, especially with the Jedias character. So you guys have to sound off. We kind of got to bounce off of each other. But for me, you can't just expect for me as a wrestling fan to invest in a big guy because he's a big guy. He's got this nice, cool black leather trench coat. He looks to be in this whole demonic cult, death metal kind of vibe, right? You can't just expect a wrestling fan to invest in somebody just because of how they look. And the little bit that we have heard of Jedias as far as talking, it's promising. But it's still pretty green, but it's promising, right? So two things either need to happen. Either we got to hear a lot more from Jedias and we get like some little vignettes, some shit like that. Or we got the Father James Mitchell just untapped, letting him do his thing and getting that boy over big time. But it just seems that they've scaled back on James Mitchell, and I really wish they wouldn't. If there's a way they can work some stuff out and he can, even more, I personally would like it, because I'm trying to think, and I'll have to put this question out to you guys, because sometimes my memory gets a little scratchy, but it seems as far as the last batch of episodes of NWA Power, we really haven't been getting either a Jedias talking like that or James Mitchell really talking like that. So yeah, I really wish that, other than that, just for what it's worth, in-ring wise, I don't have any issues. With Jedias. Pharaoh Odison taking on Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666. NWA World Tag Titles on the line. Match went about 8 minutes, 15 seconds. La Rebellions, Bestia 666, and Mecha Wolf retaining. Damn good tag match. I actually had enjoyed this quite a bit. I was very conflicted because I actually like both of these tag teams, but I just felt La Rebellion, come on, man, they on fire right now. You got to continue to go with them. You know what was even more interesting? I was at times checking out some of the comments during the Fight TV stream, and just, wow, first of all, I shouldn't have to reiterate this, because it's kind of a no-brainer, but trying to have decent conversations in the Fight TV stream, you could pretty much forget it. I mean, there are some hard-ass trolls that are in that Fight TV chat. It's just one of those, look, you're going to order the pay-per-view, that's cool, but don't even enter that chat room. Just go on ahead and blow up your main screen so you can enjoy the show. But it was interesting seeing some of the comments that were coming in during this match, because you could legitimately tell who's watching the NWA product, like on a consistent basis, versus who's watching it for the very first time and everything. And when it came to this match, there definitely were a lot of people that did not know diddly jack about La Rebellion, and it was kind of sad. It was laughable. It was very, very laughable. But no, I thought this was a damn good match. I like the fact that we had a combination of Powerhouse meets a little bit of hybrid, because you definitely got a nice mixture of the two in this matchup. And both of these teams had clicked extremely well with one another. Seriously, I love this. This was probably actually one of my other favorite matches of the night. It legitimately was. Post-match is where things had really got interesting, though. As La Rebellion, they're not even able to celebrate that long. And of course, the question's probably, as a fan, running through your mind, does this mean that La Rebellion is going to take those tag titles and they're going to be going back to Mexico and they're going to be doing some stuff via remote because they want some new challengers, right? Bring them some real challenges, and they'll entertain coming back to the States to defend the titles. Well, Dirty Dango debuted at Hard Times 2. Yeah, Dirty Dango. Dirty Dango, formerly known as Fandango, WWE fame. He appeared right alongside JTG, and they just did an epic stare down on frickin' La Rebellion, letting them know they're coming for those tag titles next. So pretty badass. I gotta say, did not see it coming. It legit put a frickin' smile on my face, and I loved it. I ate it up, and oh, that's that's cool. It's funny. I'm actually on the because I was trying to figure out what exactly was the name Fandango was going under now. I was trying to figure out if it was a case where, you know, JTG and Fandango, they were just calling themselves Dirty Dangos or what. And Fightful had gave me some love. Fightful had actually shared my tweet. I said, tell me I did not just see that. Oh, snap. Dirty Dango. Hashtag Hard Times 2. Hashtag NWA Hard Times 2. It was great. It was great. I freaking loved that moment. I marked out Fandango. If I could be candid for a second, when it comes to Fandango, y'all, I don't get it. Fandango had at one point the entire entertainment world doing his whole little dant. I mean, he had everybody doing that. And you want to talk about somebody that was very charismatic, very energetic, decent wrestler. What more could you want, right? Great combinations. And just for whatever reason, and look, contrary to how some people may feel, I loved his shit with Breezango. Him and Tyler Breezango. I loved that. I ate that shit up. The Fashion Police, whatever. I loved all of that. I thought all of that was just very clever. So cheesy. I mean, almost Edge and Christian cheesy. But in its own quirky little silly, he made shit work. So I always thought of releases. His was a little bit perplexing. That was kind of one of those releases I didn't quite understand. Even to this day, I still don't quite understand. But what is one loss is another's gain. And I'm looking forward to seeing what NWA is going to be able to do with the guy. Now, let me actually show you guys how he looked tonight, too, by the way. I did take plenty of screenshots, but last thing I wanted to do was be on the show just showing nothing but slides here. I can show you guys, for those of you that didn't see the pay-per-view and you're a little bit curious how he's looking. Let me open a browser source here. This will only take me a couple of seconds, guys. So let me go with browser, and I will show you guys how he's looking here. Let's see. So there's a browser, but can we get a particular image in there? Let's see. If I can't get a image in there, then we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it the other way. Ah, okay. That's how we do it. Okay. So hang on. You guys are getting ready to see it in a couple of seconds. I figured out how to do it. And okay. Okay. There you go. There you go. I love how technology works. Okay, so let me minimize this. And I'm going to blow this up for you guys so you can see this. Okay. There you go. That's how he's looking now. That's how he's looking now. Held up pretty damn good, yeah. I mean, I haven't really seen him, you know, but it matches up. It matches up. If you remember the last couple of times we saw him in NXT, kind of matches up. looks pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do. I'm telling you, as far as tag divisions go, NWA, they're really starting to really build up their tag division. I got to say, it's really starting to shape up pretty damn well. Let's see. Next up. What was next? That tag match, by the way, that was about 8 minutes and 15 seconds for the NWA World Tag Titles. Next match was the grudge match. Nick Aldis versus Thom Latimer. Look, this was a great little matchup. But damn, the finish, just out of nowhere, Nick Aldis gets in a jackknife cover. And it's over at 11 minutes, 19 seconds. I mean, jackknife cover, clean in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and that pretty much was it. And it was just kind of one of those, wait, that's it? Especially considering the way the match had began. It opened up red hot. Red hot. Nick Aldis was just waiting like a fiend for the bell to ring. Soon as it rings, he's charging right after Latimer. Latimer quickly rolls out of the ring, and he's playing the whole, cat and mouse game. You're like, okay, all right, cool. This is what we're gonna, okay. But then once things really started to settle in, they started kicking the living crap out of each other. You had one spot where Nick Aldis actually pulls down the trunks and the thong, if you will, of Thomas Latimer from behind. So all you see is Latimer's ass. But wait, that's not what was the hilarious part. I got to put this in you all's mind for those of you that's going to be checking out the pay-per-view later. Keep your eyes on the black woman with the golded braided hair sitting in the front row of the hard camera. She's going to kind of be, just look dead center, pretty much first row from the floor. First row, what's going to be over to your respected right. And you'll see her. And she is mad. Sister is mad because she's seeing a guy's bare ass and stuff. So you guys are probably, well, like she's never seen a guy's butt cheeks before. What the hell is the problem? Well, you can see her gesturing a few times. And she's like doing her hand like this. And she's literally, you might not be able to read her mouth because she's got a mask on, but you're literally going, she's probably saying, what about the kids? Think about the kids. And as some people would say, fuck them kids. But no, seriously, she's literally going, think about the kids. And there was a couple of kids in the attendance there for tonight's show. And so after about maybe, it felt like an eternity, but I'd probably say maybe after about 90 seconds, Latimer finally gets his shit up together and everything. But that spot right there, just have that in the back of your mind. Funny ass spot. But it had continued on, and they said grudge match. When I hear grudge match, I just, okay, all or nothing at all, to quote one of my favorite Frank Sinatra songs. So I'm really expecting these guys to just really lay it all out there and everything. And that finish, just so, I guess we're done with this feud. Because, I mean, when you have Nick Aldis win cleanly in the middle of the ring like that, right? I mean, that's the payoff. We've done all of this, and we've just gotten to this point, and it ends like that. I just can't help but go, so I guess we're done? Latimer's moving on to something else, and Aldis is moving on, because it was a little frustrating. I got to be honest with you guys. It was a little frustrating, because I thought for sure if Aldis was going to win, and I think I actually picked Latimer to win. But you would have thought that if Aldis was going to win, they would have just borrowed a page out of the historic Shawn Michaels Triple H feud. Remember that? Remember SummerSlam? Triple H's match there with HBK. HBK's big comeback match, and HBK wins, but then Triple H just comes in and he just takes out Shawn, and you're like, oh my God, not his back. Oh, right? You would have thought that maybe something like that would have been borrowed for right here. And yeah, Nick Aldis might have picked up the dub, but at what cost? And right down to the point, we kept being reminded all throughout this match, and then even post-match, it was just spammed to death. The neck problems that Nick Aldis is having. The neck issues. You know that what just went down here with Latimer. You know it took a serious toll on his neck. To what extent, you don't really know, but you know he's favoring his neck. That's why he's taking the help of the referee as he's quickly making his way out of the ring. You know, you just can't help but wonder if this grudge match was supposed to have a little bit more time added on, if there was maybe a different finish that was supposed to be happening, or what, because it just felt very, between this, the Jazz tribute, maybe a tiny little bit of Camille and Melina. It just felt as though we were starting okay, we're running out of time, so let's kind of just skip this, skip that, and let's go right to this. That's how it kind of felt like with this matchup. Sound off. Let me know if you guys kind of had the same impression as well. Speaking of Jazz, the beautiful, the lovely Jazz making her return to the NWA. How could we not forget about Jazz and that nice, long, historic reign she had as an NWA women's champion, having that Burke title, the Burke, had held it for 948 days, and she had to vacate the title due to personal reasons in 2019. Yeah, for those of you that maybe haven't been checking out the NWA product that long, yeah, your girl Jazz, she had won that title at a house show. Going back to September of 2016. Yes, and she held that bad boy all the way up until second quarter of 2019 and had to vacate it due to personal reasons and everything. But it was great to see Jazz back. I gotta say, Jazz's weave tonight, I loved her weave. Her weave looked good. That weave looked good, if I dare say so myself. Now look. Matter of fact, let me show you guys another picture. I'm gonna show you guys how Jazz had looked tonight. Rather than talk about it, I'm gonna actually pull up a picture here, and I'll show you guys how she looked tonight. And if you guys are following me all throughout social media, then you definitely saw some of the pictures I had shared when I was on the Jericho cruise, and I did a photo op with Jazz. And Jazz, you know, nice, beautiful, sexy bald head, you know, just, hey man, only certain women can pull off that sexy bald head. Jazz is one of them people, man. So few women that can pull off that bald look, and she is definitely one of those women, without a doubt. You see this though, that's why you're gonna be like, man, Lee said weave, and I'm not knocking. No, her weave was actually pretty damn tight tonight. I ain't dissing the lady. Let me show you guys how her hair was looking tonight. Whoever hooked her up, they hooked her up good, man. Seriously, they hooked her up good. Let's see, where's my browser? All right, and then do this again, and we're gonna go here. Okay, you guys are gonna be seeing it in about 2 seconds here. There you go. There you go. There's her husband, Rodney Mack. Now, remember, we did the Jericho cruise, you know, just like a couple of months ago. Okay? Like, damn, has it even been, what was that, like October 21st through the 24th? Right? And the picture, you guys can see, like the picture I took with her, you know, she's au natural. And right, here we are, here in December, and, you know, Good weave game, man. I ain't knocking it. I ain't hating. Shit, I ain't hating. Shit, I love it. I love it, man. Seriously. If I had the money, because, you know, I started going thin like some years back. I mean, the last time I had let my hair grow out was a couple of years ago. And my hair's gotten even thinner. The main problem that's going on with my hairline is like running away from my face. That's my main problem now, and everything. So, you know, but if I had the money, you know, oh, trust me, your boy would definitely be doing like jazz, man. I'd be tightening up on them weave games, man. That shit. Men getting weaves is the new trend these days, man. It's like, but you got to have the money for it. Like, so for me, au natural. I don't care. Au natural. I go au natural every day of the week. But it was great seeing Jazz in the house. She didn't talk that long. She only talked like for about 8 minutes. She had thanked Billy Corgan, everything that he, you know, did for her, having her come into the NWA and being an integral part of the women's division and trusting her, you know, as far as like his vision, you know, because he had nothing but good intentions and everything when he was coming in. And she also took the time out to thank Vince McMahon and the WWF. She thanked Paul Heyman, Tommy Dreamer, ECW. You know, Jazz, I gotta say, I hate to compare. But between Jazz and what Ric Flair had did a couple of months back, where Flair just felt as though he was all over the place, and he was just, with Jazz, it just felt straight from the heart, really taking time to give thanks, and, you know, not just out there killing time. I mean, Jazz was just pretty much, look, Jazz has always been a woman of short words. You know, she really, you know, in the ring wise, really ain't been a talkative person. You know, it's just all about the action, right? So for her to just pretty much go in there and boom, 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 boom. It was nice seeing all the women surrounding the ring and everything. I thought it was kind of funny, particular when she said, "Where's Medusa? Where's my girl Medusa?" And Medusa's pretty much in the back because we know she's one of the producers now and everything. So she comes out and she does a quick little drive-by hello, rolls back and everything. And now I think I might have heard this wrong, so I have to rely on you guys, but sounded like during her speech, sounded like she said something along the lines of, we haven't seen the last of her, basically, because she's going to be working behind the scenes as well, helping produce NWA shows, and you know, especially with the women's matches and everything. Or maybe I'm misinterpreting it, and basically that's somewhat what she was doing when she was with the NWA regularly. I'd have to go back and listen to that again, but to my ear off the break as I'm watching and try to take notes and everything, it kind of sounded like she's getting ready to help the NWA in the near future. I mean, if that be the case, can we just take a pause and just remember, okay, if that's accurate, so we're going to have Jazz, we already got Medusa, and we got Mickie James in the NWA. Yo. Yo, shit about to get popping. That's all I gotta say. Serious, that's all I gotta say. But I no bullshit, all joking aside, just if I can just be serious for a second, any promotion that is willing to have a great woman like Jazz work for them in any capacity, especially behind the scenes, putting matches together, you know, all of that, being a producer, they would be very, very fortunate to have her, because, oh boy, we need women like Jazz. Because Jazz, that's one thing that I always had loved about Jazz's character, was the realism that she was able to bring to life of her character. You legit thought Jazz was gonna whoop your ass, whether you were male or female. You legit thought Jazz was gonna beat your ass, right? And all about that presence, that commanding presence. And sadly, that's something that's missing today with a lot of with a lot of wrestlers. It's sad but true. It's sad but true. But short and sweet. I thought somebody was going to come out, though. I got to say, I was expecting, because I didn't see her at ringside. Two people I didn't see at ringside, Melina and Camille. I was expecting for Camille to come out there. I was going, oh, you know what? How badass would it be if Camille came out with the Burke just to rub it in Jazz's face and say something along the lines to her, you dropped this, but I picked it up, as well as this women's division, right? I was expecting for Camille to come out and talk some hot game, but it didn't happen. They let Jazz come out there, say her piece and everything, and that pretty much was the end of it. Can we give some love to Rodney Mack too? What a great spouse, husband, therapist, just everything that he's been to Jazz. Because Jazz made sure when she was giving her speech, she made sure she gave her husband and Rodney Mack his flowers for always being there when it counted the most and stuff. And they have aged damn good, man. I gotta tell you, they've held up pretty damn good. You want to get a better look at them, go on my Twitter joint at the RCWR show. I got one picture that's up, and they held up pretty damn good. Rodney Mack holding it down with the Pro Wrestling Illustrated shirt, one of my favorite magazines from back in the day. A little controversial now, but it's all good. Speaking of Camille and Melina, that was our next matchup. Camille taking on Melina for the Burke, the NWA Women's Championship. 12 minutes. Camille with the retain. Fine storytelling right here. I like the fact that they had Camille go into this feeling a little bit overzealous. She actually went into this a little bit overconfident, as Melina was just like a rabid Wolverine. I mean, she was just pouncing on Camille. Camille was trying to win this by any means necessary, even if it meant by crook. She was digging down dirty and deep. I mean, she was using some nice little cheap tactics here in this matchup here. But it was pretty good. I mean, I don't think anybody felt that Camille's championship reign was ever in doubt against Melina. I think the main question was just how entertaining was the match gonna be itself. And Melina, if I were to describe how she was in this match, she seemed like a girl that snapped. That's the best way I can describe it. She seemed like a girl that fucking snapped during this matchup, because I love the one spot where Melina had like this bridge like submission hold on Camille, and you're just going, okay, all right, I got the understanding that you're doing the bridge, but just lay on her, and just, because you see Camille, she is just dragging herself while Camille's on top of her. She's just dragging herself while she's laying on her belly, going to that bottom rope. And she successfully was able to hit that bad boy to get the rope break and everything. It was like all Melina had to do was just lay on her. Just lay on her and just keep torquing that bad boy. But we saw that. That was a nice little spot there. There was another spot where Melina had got Camille from one of the corners of the ring post and was just choking out Camille. I mean, Melina, that is, she looked like a woman possessed, the way she was trying to choke out Camille. I loved it. Whether that's that Latina heat, whatever you want to call it, I love that tenacity that was coming from out of her. And if I do dare say so myself, when you really stop and think about some of the recent challengers that's come the way of Camille since she's been the NWA World Champion, that really, tonight, I would have to say, was honestly as close to a legit threat posed to Camille's championship so far. All the other ones just felt, yeah, okay, we know where this is going, and you're mildly interested. This was actually one where you're going, nah, you know what? Not only is this one going to be pretty entertaining, but told just right, Melina could possibly, right? There's that little what if, though. A couple of moments there where you actually thought Melina was going to pull it off. You actually thought Melina was going to pull it off. Towards the end, we saw Melina get so frustrated that she took off her knee pad, her little knee pad brace. And she was looking to just go to town on Camille. This was pretty much a case of the hell with the championship. Now I just want to put a serious hurting on Camille. And right when she took it off and she started to charge, I mean, she literally was charging after Camille. Camille's already in opposite end. Camille just wham, goes for her trademark spear, lays out Melina. 1, 2, 3. Camille retains the Burke. Very curious to see where things are going to be going with that women's championship. As I alluded to a couple of days ago, do we maybe go in a direction now where, look, we've got Mickie James with the Knockouts Championship still bouncing between shows, and we got Camille. Do we ultimately, Camille and Mickie James, do we maybe do something like that? Do they collide? Or is it possible that we don't have to really look that much further for a challenger? Friendly reminder, Velvet Sky still has her championship series opportunity. So could she maybe cash it in the very near future? Speaking of Velvet Sky, as far as the commentary tonight between Joe Galley, Tim Storm, Velvet Sky, I only have one complaint about the commentating tonight. I felt Velvet did a little bit too much power talking. There were times where Joe or Tim Storm were making some very valid points, or they were beginning to make their point, and it felt that Velvet wasn't really giving them their opportunities to, say their piece, let stuff breathe, and then do your thing. There's a lot of power talking that was going on. There is that accidental power talking. It's like, well, no, you go ahead. No, wait, go ahead. It's kind of like that. And then there is when one person is talking and the other just, right, they know you're talking, but they just got to get their shit in. It just kind of felt a little bit too much for me. I know some people kind of felt, because I saw it during the fight stream and other places, I know some people felt a little bit worse as far as the commentating of Velvet Sky. I'm going to actually defend Velvet. I actually am going to defend Velvet. I have heard her enough now where she's done pretty good in recent months. I'm giving her a pass right now because there is honestly just no telling. Look, I don't like bringing up people's personal lives. I don't. But when they make it public in an open forum, then it's okay. We now have this knowledge. She recently broke up with Bully Ray. And they were together from 2016? Let me tell you something. You don't just... What's that? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, almost 6 years. You're a couple, right? You don't just, okay? So even if you try to get yourself lost in your work and all of that, you're still gonna, right? So I'm going to give her a pass on this one. Legit. I'm not making any excuses for her, guys. Me personally, like, I'm giving her a pass. That's just me. Overall, I felt the commentating was decent. If I got to single out Velvet Sky particularly, were there some rough edges tonight? Yeah, there was. I'm hoping that things will rebound quite nicely when it comes to this batch of power tapings that they're going to be doing. But I'm not going to be holding her feet to the fire. And I mean, you try fucking, go to work and be 100% on point. Oh, by the way, your wife just broke up with you. She says she wants a divorce. She's going to Tennessee and taking the kids. And yeah, you try to fucking go to work with oh, what a wonderful feeling. Things gonna go my way. Yeah. Good luck to you. Next up, main event match of the night. Trevor Murdoch taking on Mike Knox, NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So remember what I said earlier about Scion, Tyrus, crappy finish. Remember what I said earlier about the grudge match, Nick Aldis, Latimer. What the fuck? We just end it like that? Look, I got a lot of respect for the storyline that was built up with Trevor Murdoch becoming the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I do. I'm a little bit concerned about Trevor Murdoch as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I'm a little bit concerned about that. And the main reason why is because we're talking about essentially Trevor Murdoch's first real, okay, this is it. This is it right here, right? No more Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis is out of the picture. He is now your ally. So you go out there and you just have yourself an enjoyable championship run, right? And so keeping that in mind, I didn't like this match. I hate to say that. I'm just going to give it to you guys right between the eyes. I did not like this match. We have Trevor Murdoch become the NWA World Heavyweight Champion at the NWA 73 pay-per-view. Then we pretty much have him go to the By Any Means Necessary pay-per-view where he didn't even defend the championship. Remember, he was in the tag match there with Trevor Murdoch, and they defeated the team of Thom Latimer and Chris Adonis. But remember, it was post-match where we pretty much had got introduced to Mike Knox. And I think one of the main things that was hurting the NWA power tapings particularly was the fact that we didn't get any interview segments, no vignettes. We didn't get anything of substantial value in telling the story of Mike Knox, why we as NWA fans should be invested in this Mike Knox character, why we should give a damn about why Mike Knox did what he did, etc., 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 right? So we have such a big gap that by the time we go to this pay-per-view tonight, all of a sudden we're supposed to give a damn about this guy called Mike Knox. And you feel what I'm saying? Mike Knox did not ever feel like a legit threat to Trevor Murdoch's championship. He just did not. And the devil is in the details, because when you really looked at this match tonight for what it was worth, did you all by chance make note of how long I said this match was? This singles match between Murdoch and Knox was only 7 minutes. Only 7 minutes. For me, this was a below average match. I didn't feel any chemistry whatsoever between these two men. Some areas looked a little sloppy. I couldn't wait for this match to be over. Bulldog finish, 1, 2, 3, clean in the middle of the ring. I'm literally clapping in real time as this. I'm literally clapping because this was just, it was painful for me to watch. It's a memory that I want to erase from my mind very quickly, right? Because this is still very early on in Murdoch's championship reign. And for me, just lackluster. Now, post-match, you got my interest. Post-match, we see Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder. Remember, he was a GCW champion recently and all that. He's been making some nice waves. We've also seen on the recent batch of Impact Wrestling shows, you know, he's trying to jockey for a position in being the next number one contender, if he isn't already the number one contender, to face Moose for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. There's a viral clip that's going around of Moose just verbally destroying the hell out of Cardona. Go look it up. He makes a nice reference to the Intercontinental Championship that Cardona once held. You guys will dig it and thank me later. But Cardona pops up, to which Murdoch isn't even able to celebrate his championship defense for even 90 seconds. He's questioning Matt Cardona, wondering what the hell is he doing in his ring, or you kind of get the figure of speech. It's not really his ring because Cardona's not even in the ring. He's just walking down the ramp. But Murdoch wants to know what the hell is Cardona doing there. Cardona's saying to him, yo, relax. I'm just here to celebrate your victory. That's it. Like, what the hell's the problem? Mike Knox comes from behind Murdoch, gives him a low blow that sends Murdoch crashing to the canvas. Mick Foley comes back out, and Mick Foley says, no, we're not going to end it like this. Things ain't going down like this. Pretty much says, you know, Knox, naughty boy. Cardona, he knows just what to get him. Pope comes out. Now, at first, this may seem a little bit confusing, but when you really stop and think about it, you go, actually, okay, this makes sense. Pope has a lot of respect for Trevor Murdoch. And remember, one of the things that Pope had said in regards to Murdoch, he was not going to prematurely just come from out of nowhere and challenge Murdoch for the championship. He would do it straight up, man to man, honestly. But he told him, for the time being, enjoy your championship run for all it's worth. So that, considering how close that both men are, right? So you kind of understand that within reason. But just when you could start to say yay, Pope gets taken out. So he really wasn't of much help. Back inside the ring, Murdoch is trying to get to his feet. Matt Cardona gets in there. He's waiting for freaking Murdoch to come to his feet. Mike Knox takes him down yet again. Matt Cardona smiling. He just loves everything that's playing out before his eyes. He picks up the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, aka the 10 pounds of gold, lifts it up in the air. All right, so now we pretty much know what's going on here with Cardona, what has brought him to the NWA. He's eyeballing the 10 pounds of gold. And our pay-per-view pretty much went off like that. I actually stayed with the Fight TV stream because the past several shows, they usually will fade to black and then come back on and they do some post-show stuff. They didn't do anything as far as I know. And I had it on for an extra 4 minutes until I got the, Fight TV isn't picking up a signal from the venue message. And yeah, so nice little finish that you had there. So pretty good. Look, if all accounts seems to say that we're going to have Cardona on the next handful of NWA power shows and all that, assuming, I'm down. I'm down. I'm totally down with that. Honestly, I sadly did not get a chance to check out what Cardona was able to do in GCW, but I know a lot of fans were ranting and raving about it. And, I haven't seen what's been happening with Cardona in Impact Wrestling within recent months, because I pretty much clocked out on Impact. I can't even tell you the last time I had watched Impact. Definitely when Kenny Omega was still the Impact champion, though. I want to say it was right after. If you throw at me the last 4 pay-per-views, I could tell you what was the last Impact pay-per-view I watched. That might be able to clue you guys in. But yeah, I'm definitely going to catch up on Impact, though, because I want to see what's been going on with Cardona, because I'm assuming the Cardona we're getting in NWA is the same Cardona that we're seeing in Impact. That even makes sense personality-wise. Hey, Marvin, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm happy that La Rebellion retained. I'm definitely happy. I love that tag team. That's a tag team that I've grown fond of very fast. They remind me so much of the Lucha Brothers, right down to the point I would actually love. But see, I don't know. With the way Tony Khan's acting, you just don't know if somewhere down the road another tag team effort would be happening again between AEW and NWA. You just don't know. But I personally would love to see Rey Fenix and Pentagon take on La Rebellion. I would love to fucking see that. That would be like fucking epic, as far as I'm concerned. You could tell me, but they faced each other before. It's like, that's then. I'm talking about right now. Like, because right now, the fans, there's a good, strong following for both respected teams and everything. Yeah, they definitely, that's my, like, let's go there. That's where the money is. That's where the money is. Poll time. Let's see what you guys had to say about the pay-per-views here. So first off, let's go to Twitter. Again, at the RCWR show. Asked you guys, what did you think about the pay-per-view? Shout out to Gary Horn. All right, so I got an NWA story to share with you guys here. So NWA has shared some footage earlier today where Dr. Stinson and Gary Horn, they do their NWA post show. They walked in on Scion backstage somewhere. And Dr. Stinson was, trying to check up on Scion, see how he was doing. The next thing you know, Scion just freaking snaps and he just has this chokehold on the doc. And he's choking him out, talking shit for like over a minute. And you're going, where the hell is Gary? Gary was like literally right there next to Doc. And like, he just hauled ass. So I tweeted, I said, by God, that man has a family. And Gary, what the fuck, dude? Just magically disappearing and leave a brother hanging. No Christmas presents for you this year, homie. That's what I said to him. And Gary just responded back. He said, Gary said, I thought he had it under control. Laughing emoji. Oh, shit. Gary, you killing me, dog. You killing me. Much love, man. Much love. Oh, God, you guys are killing me. All right, let's see what you guys had said on Twitter here. 35% of you are giving Hard Times 2 a thumbs down. And 65% of you are giving it a thumbs up. Okay. All right, not too shabby. All right, let's go to YouTube. Let's go to the YouTube community tab and let's see what you guys are saying over there. YouTube, where are we here? Communities tab. And boom. We got it loading up. Hang on, guys. Interesting polling results, though. I would have expected it to be a little bit higher. Let's see what you guys are saying here on YouTube. All right. I would imagine the voting is going to pick up a lot more, but, you know, it's still early on YouTube. Right now, though, I'm seeing 100% of the votes are saying thumbs up for the pay-per-view. So my advice to those of you that are getting ready to check this out for on demand and the downloads, now that you've heard the polling results, obviously go with the one that you feel best represents where you're at as far as the majority. Okay, go vote that way. So, but again, Twitter, 35% thumbs down, 65% thumbs up. YouTube, 100% thumbs up right now. While you guys are voting as well, bear in mind, I got an exclusive poll on Twitter and on YouTube. I'm asking you guys thoughts. My mind, I think, is pretty much made up, but I'm asking you guys thoughts on which furry daughter you think I should welcome into my home next. I'm in the market for another dog to keep my current dog company, because she's kind of getting up there in age, and she gets so sad when mommy and daddy are gone for an extended period of time. We figure if she had a little play buddy, that would help her out a little bit. So you'll see 2 pictures of some runner-ups. Feel free to sound off. I do check out all interactions. But in regards to Hard Times 2 tonight / this weekend, I'm going to give the pay-per-view a thumbs up. I mean, all the matches that they had gave us tonight, I would give this card a respected... You know, I was expecting a little bit more from Foley, I gotta say. A little bit more. Wasn't sure what to expect, but I was expecting a little bit more from Foley. I will give this pay-per-view... I can't go any lower. I can't go any higher. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Even with some of the stuff that I didn't like, I can't go lower. I cannot go higher. Definitely an 8 out of 10 I would give the pay-per-view. So if you haven't checked it out yet and you got about $24 floating around, order it. You definitely, I think, will honestly enjoy it, especially if you're looking for a nice little alternative and everything. One show down. We got one more to go. All right, so Sunday night, December 5th, we're going to be right here after NXT War Games goes off the air. Appreciate those of you that have voted. I saw the polling results. We put this up on Thursday. Told you guys the deal. Just to recap, for you guys that had missed it, I said to you guys, would you all like a live this Sunday NXT War Games post show or a Sunday live webcast of Wrestling with the Topics? If you choose War Games, then Wrestling with the Topics will be pre-recorded as an audio-only episode. Happy voting. Final tally as it stands here tonight. 20% of you said a Sunday Wrestling with the Topics. Winning vote, 80%. You want a Sunday War Games post-show. So you all know how I felt about the NXT product in recent weeks. I promise you guys, not only will I be watching War Games, but I will be watching War Games truly as unbiased as possible. And we'll be taking my notes. And where I feel constructive criticism needs to be given, it will be fair constructive criticism. So y'all need to pat yourselves on the back that have voted. No. We want a War Games post show. So I'll be sitting down with the missus sometime Sunday afternoon. We will record Wrestling with the Topics, and I will just schedule that episode maybe for a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday afternoon or evening or something like that. But we'll figure it out. All right. So Sunday, War Games, and then we're right back here Monday and Tuesday. So next couple of nights, we're going to be here firing it up for you guys. Meanwhile, you guys made it up to this point. If you haven't done so already, kindly please leave that like. When you leave that like, it's free to do, but you really help more people discover our content, especially those that actually like to talk of NWA. So hit that like, make sure you do that. Feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. Click on all notifications when you hit that bell so you know about all content that comes your way. And yeah, that is going to do it. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. Shout out to those of you that had joined me live. Shout out to Jared. Shout out to MDH. Shout out to Marvin. Shout out to you live lurkers. Shout out to those of you that's going to be checking this out for on demand and on the downloads. Until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go round. Peace, y'all.